What's up, dude?
Nice to meet you.
You too. My name's Saeed Ashur. Hi.
My name is Zaid Dahaj.
Is it?
It actually is. Oh, you wanted to shake my hand.
I did want to shake your hand, but never mind. This guy over here.
If you haven't noticed, we're a little bit tired, but we are also in a new stew.
Yeah. I'm tired of you, but
You just spent a month away from me. How dare you say something like that?
I mean, it's out of love, you know. We can't say things like "I love you," so it's kind of
Yeah.
like you just got to make fun of each other.
Yeah, be kind of suspect.
Yeah, it's the cycle of life, man. It's a cycle of manhood.
So obviously we're back in the new and refined version of the stew.
Yep, we are back, and I have been away for a while, and today marks the day that I woke up, I guess. I don't know.
Woke up from that dream.
Woke up from that dream. I'm still processing everything.
Go over a little bit of it. I know you mostly stayed in Turkey.
Yeah, I stayed in Turkey. I love Turkey. This is like my fifth time going to Turkey, and this time I actually went for work,
Mm-hmm.
which was awesome. I hit up the Eastern Asian side, like deep into the jungle, basically, and just different complete.
The jungle of
Yeah,
Turkey.
the jungle of Turkey, dude. And what can I say? It was a dream.
Yeah.
It was a dream.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot to think about, a lot to compute, so to speak. So, like, what are the highlights from the trip?
Ooh.
Or, like, what have you learned?
Honestly, dude, the call to prayer for sure, all over the country, right? It's a mixed nationality, mixed religion country, so it's really diverse. But the
Mhm.
fact that anyone and everyone can just publicly do that and no one minds it
Yeah.
is so awesome. Because you know, aesthetically, the mosques are pleasing to look at. They're
Mhm.
well lit, and it's kind of like they're on top of a hill. Nature really helps too because of the birds that are just flying everywhere. Weather's beautiful. The most insane clouds I've ever seen in my life.
Every-
It's just
Everyone has seen the Taken series with
Yeah.
Liam Neeson. There have been multiple shots where the birds are
Yeah.
flying over the mosque.
Well, now you know where that scene was taken. So
Just taken somewhere.
yeah. But enough about Turkey. If you want to know more about Turkey, follow my Instagram at Saeed Ash. You'll
Yeah,
find me
very,
there.
very well done, by the way, on the.
Yeah. And I just flexed on camera. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, go follow me there. It's if you don't know the spelling, it's SAIEDASH. Go follow that page. You can see all my work and do all that cool stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
But yeah, man. Lately I've been feeling great. I've been feeling really valuable. And it's just I think a lot of people depreciate themselves and they don't know what kind of value they hold.
Mm.
That's been a lot like on my mind. Talking to people, and I've met a lot of people on my journey,
Yeah.
you know, and they come from a different land, different kind of culture, you know, used to different kind of things. And when talking to them, there's a huge thing across the entire globe right now. And I think it's depreciation, but a lot of people will call it clinical depression.
What do you mean?
What is the most common thing you hear these days? I can't achieve something. Why? I'm just, you know, I feel stuck. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I'm depressed. And for the most part, you don't even hear I think. It's just I'm depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we so quick to jump to that? There's obviously a root, right?
Yeah.
I talk about environment a lot because environment goes to show you it's like every time you change something, it's a whole new experience, right? So you could still be an accountant doing the same damn work every single day. Nothing has changed. But what you can do is change your environment.
Mm-hmm.
You can change your layout, your computer, get a new desk.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, move your desk. You don't even need to buy new things, right?
Yeah.
Lighting, doing all that kind of cool stuff. And we've obviously done it. Like, I don't know if you guys can have noticed. For us, the room has changed,
I feel like I'm in the old stew.
right?
That's how much it's changed. But like we've carried some of the same elements
Yeah.
into this
So
space.
in a sense, we've changed our environment, and this feels totally new, kind of.
It feels way better, I'll tell you that.
That's for sure. That's the work of me.
Indeed. But I mean, yeah, clinical depression is one thing, but the whole And I think this is a major contributor to depression along
Mhm.
with some other important things, but the one thing that I want to nail down on is the self-deprecation.
Okay.
So I think it's a different word to what you said originally, but
Mhm.
self-deprecation is basically the idea that you shit on yourself for very negative things that you've developed over time, whether it be a limiting belief,
Mhm.
a bad habit, something of that nature.
Yeah. What are the most common type of people that fall into this trap, though? Like, what have you noticed? There has to be a pattern.
Yeah.
Uh, for the most part, I feel like it's just like I don't even know how to bring this up, man. It's not that even it's a sensitive topic. It's just so broad. Like it's so huge. It's
There's
so
so much to it.
wide.
Mhm.
There's so much to it. And most of the people that I see falling into this trap are people that are students, right? We're all
Mm.
students of life, whatever you want to call it. But like I'm talking about students that are going to university, going through college, doing all this stuff. They have a very negative outlook on everything.
Yeah.
And most of them complain about their professors, the way they
Mhm.
handle things, not averaging scores, like working in teams and then one team player ruining everything. I get it. And that can cause negative emotions and negative, context towards
Mhm.
yourself. Like you're feeding yourself negativity. Uh, no
I
one, do you feel like no one knows how to push anymore? Like push.
well, I mean, here's the thing, like, I understand the sentiment, I understand why they feel the way that they feel.
Mhm.
The thing is, especially with young people, with students who are going through the conventional education system, these are people in their, early 20s, mid 20s. They haven't learned to manage their mind and emotions.
Mhm.
They are still very young. And to understand how to do that at that age, by definition, means you're the exception.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people, I mean, it goes down to a lot of things. People don't have their sleep in check, their lifestyle in check. Of course, I'm a huge advocate of all that stuff.
Yeah.
But also, it's just they don't know how to navigate the difficulties of life.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a huge part of our job
Hmm.
is to kind of navigate that in a sense, but not fully control it, Because at the end of the day, we're all in control. Like me and you are in front of each other a lot.
Hmm.
And for the most part, I don't control your life. I don't I only control mine, right? There's a lot of people that love me and I love a lot of people, but at the same time, I am in control. And it's not about making other people happy. It's not
Hmm.
about, you know, getting the attention and justification of other people.
Yeah.
It's learning who you are. And if there's something wrong with you, accept it and push as hard as you can to kind of change for the better and more positive so that you can actually enjoy your own being. And
Hmm.
enjoying your own being is essentially being not depressed. You're going to have moments.
Yeah.
You will have moments, but we have a difficulty of limiting
Hmm.
these things, right? So we can do like a practice of mine is if I'm overwhelmed, right? You're always positive, always positive, always positive. One day you're just gonna spill out, explode into like ah,
No, no, seriously,
right?
yeah.
Why am I always having a customer service voice? That doesn't make any sense. You need to have that. But what will I do? I'm not gonna take one day off to just complain and bitch and moan. That
Hmm.
makes no sense. I'm gonna do 5 minutes of that.
Yeah. And the thing that I've never really quite understood is that regardless of what choice you make, if you decide to complain and bitch about your life,
Hmm.
or if you decide to confront those quote unquote negative things and try
Yes.
to find a solution, you are spending the same amount of energy. But I don't think people understand that. People think that it's going to take more work
Yeah. I mean,
to find the solution.
in their defense, they're probably losing more calories and burning more calories just thinking, which, okay, great. But
Yeah. Here's
it's,
an interesting perspective.
yeah.
Like, I read this tweet, I think it was a month ago, and it was based around this idea that, look, fat people are not lazy or something around those lines. Is that they have so much energy stored on to their body.
Hmm.
It's more of like, it's more of a mental thing.
Hmm.
Because realistically, nothing's stopping you from getting off the couch and doing the things that you need to do.
That's true.
It's just it's a limiting belief, it's a mental block.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm not fat. So
It is very hard to
yeah,
speak on it because we've
it
never been fat.
of course, it's very hard to speak on. That is an interesting tweet because it, like, immediately kinda makes sense,
Mhm.
right? But I'm not willing to speak on it just because I'm not that.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's just yeah, but I get where that's coming from. Now, so what's the ideal state of mind to have, in order to help people like that? Because I feel like this episode, I kinda just wanna have it as a lesson,
Yeah.
Things that I've done, for example,
Mhm.
in times of rut or in times of extreme hecticness or just, confusion. Sometimes you're so confused that you end up getting angry and you can't even move anymore, even though you have complete ability to do so. You have a mental
Mm.
block.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So, like, how do you approach
Yeah,
somebody
how do
who
you
has
approach
that?
that? How should your outlook on life be?
I think, well, first and foremost, I don't think you can. This is something that I've learned over the course of my life is that you can't force anybody to change. And
That's
I've
true.
learned that the hard way more than once.
That's true. But if anyone's listening, that means they want to change.
Yeah. You have to talk to people who actually want to listen to you instead of individuals who act like a brick wall when you try to tell them something.
That's true.
And then from that point, I mean, if they ask questions, you answer their questions and you just make sure to be with them as much as possible.
Mhm.
Offer them, don't try to spam them with like paragraphs of nuanced information and like overwhelm them. It's more about giving them one or two little pieces of insight or wisdom
Mhm.
that they can take action on within their lives and then see the benefits.
Yeah. I like storytelling.
Storytelling is the
I
best
like
way.
recommending movies.
Yeah.
I like telling my own version of movies. That's kind of like what I'm good at. So,
It's an archetype, what
yeah.
we spoke about previously.
Mhm. And you know me. I talk about senses a lot, and that's because that's something that I had to figure out on my own.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that we have them and we forget to use them all the time.
Hmm.
So in moments of stress, which is we live in a very stressful time right now, and if you do not have control and you do not have the discipline to do so, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Hmm.
And I'm here to kind of simplify that
Yeah.
by using your senses. As simple as that, man. Your
In what
sight.
way? Like appreciating the
Yeah.
smaller things?
No, not even that. I'll explain it. So, vision, we have smell, we got feel,
Hmm.
right? We got taste. Okay. So, we eat 3 meals a day.
Hmm.
Now, it's kind of changing the perspective on that meal. Your very first meal, for example. Don't eat just to get it out of the way. That's what we do a lot. Take the time and schedule the time just like you schedule a meeting or schedule your class or whatever the hell it is, and be like, I am going to eat from this to this o'clock. We eat all the time, so you should generally know how long it takes you to eat,
Mm.
but really enjoy it. That's really important.
Make it more of a conscious process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel. For example, I open my laptop. I open it all the time. This time, I want you to open it slowly and kind of feel around. And is it plastic? Is it metal? Is it cold or hot? What's going on?
Hmm.
Right? Being aware of those things generally help you stabilize more moments in your life without it going out of control.
I agree 100%.
Um,
Because it bleeds into everything else.
yeah, it bleeds into everything else, and that's how you find your flow, man.
Yeah.
That's
Straight up.
generally how you find your flow. If you're always relying on your brain is chaotic, man. You have to
Yeah.
actually consciously do these things, and we laugh about it because it's corny, and it's kind of like, and eventually it just turns into a practice where that's just who you are.
It's only corny to people who haven't experienced it.
Yeah, or people that are just gonna be like, "Oh, dude, nah, bro, I have total control of my mind, bro." But then they break up with their girl, and
Yeah.
it's and they're at,
Then they just
yeah,
spiral
you
down
know what I
into
mean? They
shit.
end up killing them or something. Like, what's going on,
It's terrible.
right? We've
Yeah.
heard stories like that,
Hmm.
uh, and it's kind of like you're doing these things to make sure that you don't fall into a trap. Yes, you will fall, but you'll get back up. Like,
Hmm.
it won't be that big of a fall once you follow these practices. Um,
And even
So
though it's very useful to be at rock bottom.
yeah, and it kind of helps shape the way of your thinking as well.
Yeah.
Um, you appreciate more artwork. You start appreciating more little things and details. Psh, I don't- yeah. I mean, and storytelling. I like to phrase things not as do, no, no, no.
Mhm.
It's more like once upon a time, this and this happened, and there's a lesson in between that. You know what I mean?
That's how we best
A to
relate to
Z.
the world,
Yes.
through stories.
And guess what? When we were kids, that's exactly how we learn things.
Yeah,
Yeah. Dr.
yeah.
Seuss. I don't want no green eggs and ham, right?
It's like you start with stories and then you persuade the individual to take action,
Mhm.
and then as a result they'll have their own stories because they've gained experience.
Yeah. Well, here's another funny thing. I've had people go, I'm sorry, man. I want to check out your podcast, but like at the very beginning, there was no visual, right? It was just audio. And they were like,
Yeah.
if you only had video, then I could put like a face to it. And I'm like, but you know me. And they're like, no, but I just can't listen to just audio. Like it's just so creepy
I
and
don't get
weird.
that shit.
And I'm like, what? Like, who told you it's creepy? And they're like, I don't know. It's just creepy.
Creepy. I've never heard that excuse.
Yeah, I've heard that excuse.
The only excuse I hear is that okay, we learn differently.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, if you can't absorb information via your
Mhm.
ear canals, then what the hell are you
Yeah.
doing?
But do you see why I have an issue with that?
Of course.
It's because you're solely relying on not using your imagination anymore.
Yeah. It's an
You're just like
excuse.
you don't want to imagine things, right? You're not a dreamer. You're kind of just like you want things handed to you and yeah, whatever happens happens kind of thing. No.
Mhm.
You do have some form of control. I'm not saying you have all the control in the world, but just dream a little.
A
You know,
lot
a
more
lot of
control than you
people
think.
lack it. A lot of people lack dreams. Like it's like they're like, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll go to school and then I'll graduate and then, I'll apply to a bunch of jobs. What kind of plan is that? Right?
It's
Do you
not
not
one.
picture your future house? Do you not picture yourself getting married?
Yeah.
Do you not picture yourself being single for the rest of like what is it you want? You know?
Mhm.
And a lot of people shy away from that. They don't know what they want. They just go by the book. And that's where I have a problem.
Yeah.
Because I know everyone has more potential to do crazier and wilder things.
Mhm.
Humans are complicated and they're so strong and deep. And we choose to be shallow. So damn shallow. And that's what it is today.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about individuality. It's like, not. It's just me and my thoughts, and no one cares about me and all this stuff.
I'm an
And
island.
it's like, no, man. Like, you work on yourself in the dark, but at the same time, you don't work on yourself in the dark all freaking day, right?
Yeah.
Have your moments of community.
Mhm.
Community's missing today. That's what I feel. And if it's community, if there is community, it's fake.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, yo, we're all gonna roll up to show who has the best Benz, or it's like it's a raffle almost.
No, it's very valid.
It's walking into a bingo game. All right, we shouldn't be playing bingo until 75, but
I mean, this is the most tragic thing for me is that we all, as children, we all had that type of imagination, that curiosity, that spark within us.
mhm,
But as you age, as most people age, and as they experience more, gain more insight on society and the corruption that's involved in all this other negative shit,
mhm,
maybe they experience the death of a loved one
yeah,
multiple times, that starts to add up. And in combination with the fact that they don't take care of themselves, they don't follow a healthy lifestyle, they don't know how to manage their mind or emotions,
mhm,
all of that summates within the body,
yeah,
meaning it adds up.
yeah,
And then eventually you hit a breaking point where you can't handle it anymore and then you give up. Then you begin to identify as a quote unquote loser,
yeah.
as a victim, so forth.
Um, the well, if you want to choose to be an adult, then you are responsible. If you are not
Absolutely.
responsible, you are a child,
Yeah.
and it is your responsibility to do what? To claim that you need help, or that you are doing just fine, or that you have goals.
Hmm.
And you are accountable for all these things. You're accountable for yourself to bring in the childish things again,
Yeah.
right? Being an adult is so much more universal. You're a multi-tool at this point. You need to know how to be a
You're a
child.
multi tool.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah,
be
you are.
you have to know how to be a child. You have to know when to be an adult. You have to know when to say no. You have to know a lot of things,
Yeah.
right? And it all factors into being an adult.
Mhm.
We talk about being a man a lot, but it's kind of like, let's just keep it at adult today.
You've gotta mature. You've
You've
gotta
got to
mature.
mature. Yeah, take responsibility of the things. Stop. A lot of the time, people will blame anything except themselves.
Genetics, bro.
Genetics. My mailman.
Fucking Amazon didn't ship in time.
Ralph's
Everything.
grocery store. It's their fault. You know?
Yeah.
The Chinese. Like,
And
come on, man. Like we
fucking
have literally
Chinese.
blamed everyone except ourselves. Okay?
The Chi-
Like, think about it, man. Like the mask era.
Yeah.
Okay? The first month of masks, and we had immediate issues.
Mhm.
I can't breathe. Says who? That's it. Well, if the mask doesn't work, then you can breathe.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. It's just science.
Yeah. No, straight up.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're always looking to blame something, and it's never you.
Mhm.
As I like to say in Arabic, subhanallah. It's never you.
I mean, dude,
Bro.
the pandemic was a great example because the moment it started, I looked at, I started reading headlines. I understood naturally that the government seeks control. There's
Mhm.
going to be a lot of bullshit involved with
Yeah.
this. So, not once did I ever fear this virus.
Mhm.
Not once.
Same.
Because I understood. I looked at the data. I had different sources that I could rely on,
Mhm.
reliable ones.
Yep.
And then I made my own fucking decision instead of, sitting around watching CNN or MSNBC all day,
Mhm.
being scared out of my mind.
Yeah. Which that's exactly their tactic, in my opinion. It's gaining control of you so that they can stop all operations and tell you what to do at exactly the time they want.
Yeah.
Right.
They just want you to be a good little sheep.
And that we are not.
No.
Yes, and that is why everyone listens to the 2 a.m. podcast because we don't lack common sense.
No. In
No.
fact, it's one of the main tenets of the 2 a.m. podcast.
Mm. Interesting.
Common sense.
Anyway, on to lighter news. There's a meme here.
Bro, this meme. So this ties into the whole topic of self-deprecation.
Yep.
I'm sure you guys see a lot of memes on Twitter, Instagram that frankly they're bullshit because they program your mind in the wrong way, but
Mhm.
they are pretty funny.
Yeah,
If you
they
step
are pretty
outside of
funny.
it.
Of course. So humor is in it. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's really devaluing us as a society and individually.
And then
So-
we'll put the meme here.
Yeah,
wherever. So just
Dude,
describe it.
So I'm just going to describe it real quick. Think of the most majestic lion you have ever seen, okay? And that is your grandpa at 20. Now think of Simba when he grew older and he's now a majestic lion.
Yeah.
And that is his dad at 25. And now here's us, the crackhead ass Leos.
Me at 30 years old.
Yay, So we're not catching up, dude. My grandpa at 20
Was a G.
Was a G, basically.
Yeah.
And we are barely turning 30 and we haven't even had half of his dedication and his maturity and his responsibility.
We're aiming for that.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're aiming for that for sure. And I think us as individuals and as podcasters,
Mhm.
And other podcasts, we need to come together and start showing these things.
Yeah.
This is not okay. Memes are a distraction, and it's in fact changing everybody without you knowing it. And this is why we need to be conscious about this crap.
By the way, the description is on a scale of 1 to accurate. How accurate is this? I can guarantee you almost everybody answers
Oh my God.
extremely accurate.
Oh my God. It's so relatable.
Like,
Yes.
okay, you
That's
want
the
to
whole
live in
point.
the fucking metaverse?
Now, is
all your life?
relatable correct? No.
No.
So we just stop it at relatable. And I find that a problem. I find
Of
that to be a
course.
problem. Ugh.
Don't believe the shitty memes out there.
Do not.
There's some good ones, but there's some shitty ones.
Yeah. Anyway, for the rest of it, I kind of just, wanted to share my perspective on why everyone seems to be depressed these days.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that nothing is wrong with people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that I think it's much easier to be depressed these days. And it has a lot to do with meme culture. It has a lot to do with seeking the attention of others due to social media
Mm-hmm.
and solely just not being comfortable with yourself, not learning about yourself.
Yeah.
You're spending way too much time in science lab. You're spending way too much time in literature. You're spending way too much time in blah, 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 blah. Make some time to learn about yourself. That's the only thing that's going to help you on this
Mhm.
earth. And if you want to die happy, there you go.
Yeah.
And I hate to break it to you, but happiness comes in moments.
Mm.
We're not chasing happiness.
And actually, a subject that I think we haven't discussed previously,
Mhm,
related to depression, very related,
mhm.
is how do you think most people relate to antidepressants and pharmaceutical agents that are supposed to be a quote unquote cure to these ailments, to depression specifically?
How do they view them
Like,
or
how
how
do
do
you
they
think
handle them?
the average person approaches an antidepressant if they're depressed?
Um, I mean, it's kind of hard to say,
Yeah.
but if I had to assume solely based off of the people that I know,
Hmm.
probably against it for the most part.
Interesting.
Against it, but I can see that there are certain people, that I've come across where it's kind of like they're very short-termed and they look for solutions outside of them physically doing anything.
Hmm.
So they just look for like weed, they look for alcohol, they look for whatever. So
Yeah.
based off of those patterns, I can assume that they'd be like, I'll try it out,
Hmm.
not really caring about doing in-depth research. You're getting hooked on meds. That is
Yeah.
not a joke.
That's generally my viewpoint on it. Um, but interesting enough, I had a conversation with a couple friends who
Mhm,
who are actively on antidepressants, a very specific type of antidepressant. But
mhm,
I started to pick their mind. Okay, I
mhm.
started to like red team them and ask them, okay, why do you want to do this? Why do you choose to go through with this route? And I got a very interesting perspective, one that I'd never thought of before, which is for some people, for probably many more people than I would think,
Yes.
antidepressants do work.
Of course they do.
Because
That's the selling point.
I've always had this notion that they don't work because, of course, I'm more on the natural side. Listen, a healthy human being is not a depressed human being.
Yeah.
So
And
you're
then
doing something fundamentally wrong
yeah, I
with your
have noticed
lifestyle.
you've been more balanced lately.
You're rubbing off, man.
Thanks to who? Me. No, I'm kidding. But
Balance.
yeah, you're right. Here's the thing, right? We do as much natural as possible. If natural isn't working, then it is not up to you at this point.
Mhm. But that's my problem. Not many people try natural fully.
There you go. That's the thing. Are you responsible enough to try natural first?
They quit soda for a week, but then go back to it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So it's like it's that kind of pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, medicine exists because it does work, right?
In the right context.
In
Yeah.
the right context.
Hmm.
It's like how deeply depressed are we, for example? We don't know. We don't know if we're clinically depressed. We don't know if it's just seasonal depression. We don't know this, but we know it as a feeling, right?
Yeah.
For example, I've known people throughout my life where they've been depressed since birth.
Hmm.
Like it's just and they have adapted to it, and they eventually start taking meds because that's the only solution,
Yeah.
right? They cannot control that. That's a whole different situation. I'm talking about people that just automatically assume and claim they're depressed solely based off of a sad feeling.
Yeah.
No hope. There ain't no hope.
The most interesting part is like, listen, it as somebody, for example, if a family member dies, a very close family member,
Yeah,
you are supposed to be depressed. It's
of
called
course.
mourning.
Yeah, mourning and grieving. And even then, you time limit it.
Yeah.
Did you know that Islamically, we're allowed 3 days to grieve?
I'm sure there's some
That's a
wisdom
time
there.
limit. Yeah, that's a lot of time, by
Yeah.
the way, right? Because as an alpha male, we're supposed to have 5 minutes.
5 minutes of mourning.
So,
Shut the fuck up.
so 3 days is gracious.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Um, and that's the thing. Once you realize that life is not happy overall, it's actually insane. And
Hmm.
you're gonna have moments of happiness, moments of sadness, moments of anger, moments of pity, moments of
Glory.
yeah, glory, moments of awe, moments of stillness, moments of literally nothing.
Yeah,
Right? It's a
for sure.
mix of emotions. The fact that we're always trying to chase happiness, I believe, is the main cause of this depression.
Hmm. That's a very valid point. Yeah.
So it's a lot of things, and it's in the details.
Hmm.
It's really in the details. It's more about your lifestyle. It's more about your thoughts. It's about you're not controlling as many things as you should be. And we keep pushing things till the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start tomorrow. Yeah, I'll start next week. Yeah, I'll start. Why? Why not start now? Do you understand that
Mm.
seconds are going by? So that means time does not stop.
And people pedestalize happiness.
Yeah.
They feel like happiness is something out there that I will eventually achieve,
Mm-hmm.
instead of um, the idea that no, happiness is actually sitting down, fully conscious of a great meal,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying it, and then doing that repeatedly with every single activity you go about.
Yeah.
Big topics,
Big topics. Big topics. I love it.
man. Yeah.
Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts? We would like to know. Engage with us on Instagram at the 2 a.m.
Yes.
podcast. We're also on Twitter at the 2 a.m. pod. Or at is it at 2 a.m. pod?
At
Yes,
2 a.m.
at 2
pod.
a.m. pod.
Yep.
Yes. Go find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at 2 a.m. podcast. We would love it. Spotify also has a new feature where you can rate us. So go give us a
Yes.
5-star review. Yeah, we would greatly appreciate that. Um, in other news, we will be recording multiple times this week. So stay tuned and
We're back,
we
baby.
will see you next time. Love it.
Peace.
Peace.